everybody. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're at. I hope you guys are doing great. Um, I wanted to talk about this story that's pretty just insane, wild, almost unbelievable. I'm going to go through some of the details with you, and then we're going to look at a press conference and some news clips. And, basically, this place is being accused of pretty much killing dogs for profit, taking in dogs from other places. Yeah, we'll take the dog off your hands, and the dogs ending up being dead.
An investigation.
Accused of killing dogs for profit. Let me just show you a little snippet, and then I'll take you through the timeline before we get to the press conference and all that. Let's do this here.
Into a dog rescue in Humboldt County is widening, and Bay Area animal shelters are learning they sent dogs up there without knowing they could be killed. The rescue's operator is now under investigation. Let's bring in our Valina Jones. She's live in the East Bay. And Valina, first, give us a breakdown of this case and which local shelters were working with this dog rescue.
Yeah, so Janelle, this was a very popular rescue. We're talking about Miranda's rescue. And according to the East Bay Times, we are talking about more than 1,200 dogs.
And let me just tell you, in case you didn't know, the owner has not been arrested. The place is still operational, and they found like this mass grave, which you're going to get into, with many of the dogs having bullet fragments. And like I think it was a shed were like 700 collars of dog collars, but no dogs. 600 or 700. It's wild, dude.
From
Crazy.
Bay Area shelters that were sent to this rescue. That includes San Jose, Oakland, Contra Costa County, and Santa Clara counties. And talking to Oakland officials, they tell me that also includes the city of Berkeley as well. So we are talking about a lot of dogs that were sent to this rescue.
Do we know how many dogs may have been killed, how many survived, and will the surviving dogs be brought back here to the Bay Area?
So that is the big question, right, Janelle? It is hard to determine exactly the number of how many dogs were impacted because the microchip evidence in those dogs was not transferred properly. And so they're having a hard time checking into how many dogs were actually killed at this shelter. We do know that they have confirmed the death of 8 of those dogs. One of those dogs was a dog that came from Oakland. Berkeley rescued 3 of their dogs, according to an Oakland official we talked to today who's been in contact with that city. Now, Oakland tried to rescue their last remaining dog that they know is alive after a search warrant was executed at that facility, but the rescue told them no.
Oh.
And I thought this was the same story that we covered earlier this year, but apparently it's not. There was a story we covered where I don't know if you guys might remember this. Over 700 dogs. Over 700 dogs rescued, dogs and cats lay accused. It's a horrible situation. I thought this was the same place. No, the place we're talking about today is a different place in Cali. So let me just take you first through some of the timeline and details of this crazy situation. So it actually kind of started the beginning of this, well, not the beginning, April 2026, April 22nd, 2026, where they received a tip from the Humboldt County Sheriff's Office, or by the Sheriff's Office, a credible allegations of felony animal abuse, cruelty, fraud, and conspiracy. And what I had heard, I had read in one of these comments, and I feel like this is probably true. The reason they finally investigated because a woman who had a bad feeling after a cat she gave to the rescue disappeared, and she got a bad feeling. So she literally bought a house. I don't know if that's true. That's wild. Right next to the rescue, and went in at night and found dead dogs, which I think the story is true because so in April 22nd, the Humboldt County, they received this tip. In late April, also, there was a neighbor supposedly that trespasses onto the rescue, onto this property, and digs up remains. Okay. That's how the story goes. Digs up remains and finds the 8 dogs buried, many of them shot in the head. So somebody took matters into their own hands because I get just takes forever, and like maybe they don't, the cops or officials don't take it serious, or I guess she had to literally go dig up bodies, like dog bodies. And so on May 1st, they served the first search warrant that was executed, and evidence seized, initial remains confirmed. Then they expanded the investigation. Shelters were interviewed. Microchip evidence emerges. Then June 23rd, okay, about a week ago or so, a second search warrant was executed. Major excavation using ground penetrating radar. Okay. On the 25th, second search operation completed. 117 intact remains plus skulls recovered. So they found 117 intact, I mean completely together. Who knows if there's body parts or for the different body parts and stuff. And then they also found skulls recovered. That's crazy. So in April, reportedly a local resident, Jennifer Raymond, and possibly another person, they entered the property at night and dug up graves. They recovered 8 dogs. So they knew something was going on. Many had gunshot wounds. Several of the dogs were microchipped. When scanned, they matched dogs that had been transferred from shelters. So all these shelters are like sending these dogs to this place. These, oh, yeah, we'll take your dog. Yeah, we'll take it off your hand. Obviously, they're getting paid. We'll talk about that. These shelters had been told by Miranda's rescue that the dogs were adopted, but microchip records and bodies showed otherwise. Okay, so these shelters are giving the dogs to Miranda's rescue. Miranda's rescue is like, yeah, no, we found homes. We're finding places for them. Yeah, we're finding homes. They're happy. They're safe, but their bodies are in the ground and the microchips are with them. Investigators seized firearms, ammunition, a laptop, phone, a hard drive, physical files. We know about the 8 dogs. The lead investigator, Julian Aguilera, later stated in an affidavit that he believed Shannon Miranda, which is the owner of the place, killed these dogs as part of a money-making scheme, accepting payment to take in dogs, then killing some to make more room. Wow. And so on the second search warrant, they used a ground penetrating radar to locate disturbed soil in the fields. So if there's dirt and whatever, and people, you're digging up and you're disturbing the soil, I guess this radar can tell you that. And it focused on the east side of the property. Let me just show you a picture or map of this place. Miranda's rescue. Right? They think they're sending the dogs to a good place, to a better place. Miranda's rescue. Right? So wild. So this is the east side of the property. So 117 intact canine remains. And I'm assuming and I'm thinking if they find this many bodies, there's probably other grave sites. There's probably other places. Who knows what this person been doing? Maybe they've been eating dogs too, for all I know. Maybe they've been feeding dogs to the other dogs or some shit, for all I know, right? So 117 from 2 dig sites, 21 canine skulls, hundreds of additional bones. Okay, so that's why they're using the verbiage of intact, because these are the bodies that we found actually together. But then we also find skulls separate. We don't know where the body is or whatever. And hundreds of just bones everywhere. Okay, six loose microchips, more than 600 dog collars found inside of a barn. I was like, holy crap. I had heard about the story, but then when you start like reading more details, you're just like, what the heck is going on at this place? So the intact dogs, they were x-rayed on site. They did 70 of them. They have to do more. It's a lot. Many of them showed evidence of bullet fragments. 70 dogs were examined on site by the USDA veterans and private forensic veterans. Oh, sorry, said veterans. Veterinarians, my bad. Veterinarians. The remaining 47 intact dogs were collected as evidence, but not examined on scene due to time constraints. So they just, have to take them, I guess, elsewhere. In the northern part of the same field, investigators found additional heavily decomposed canine remains after consulting with prosecutors, they decided the remains were too degraded to justify removal and just left them in place, documented and covered. That's what I'm saying. Only God knows how many dogs are actually were killed, murdered, taken into this place. And some in the north side, the east side, there was the two sites that they found. The north side, it was just so decomposed. There's just nothing they could do. It was too degraded to even take it out or remove it. Inside of the barn, that's where they located an area where they believe was used to kill dogs, like a kill site, a kill area. So I guess they bring these dogs into the barn, shoot them. I wonder who the shooter is. Is it the owner of the place, Shannon Miranda? How do you? I guess you just have no feelings too. You have to have no feelings inside of you, no kind of like whatever, or maybe you just have a hatred of animals, or just you just kind of like I don't know. How do you shoot all these dogs and have no feeling inside of you? A kill area. Most of the dogs recovered were microchipped. Analysts are currently matching the microchip data to identify specific animals and trace where they came from. Since January 2025, approximately 900 dogs were transferred to Miranda's rescue. I wonder what about all the other years before that? From shelters and private individuals across California, including significant numbers from Oakland, Berkeley, and Napa County. And they're saying over 730 animals remain unaccounted for. So, with the owner has not been arrested, no criminal charges filed yet. They're still legally operating, which is insane to me. They say roughly about 50 dogs and some cats and birds remain on the property. Animal control and a veterinarian are monitoring the animals multiple times per week. Some animals on site have been reported as underweight, so they're not even being taken care of properly. There are few remaining that are still there. I mean, I wonder if this person has employees there. Are they working by themselves? How can they even manage all this by themselves? And the reason they're saying no arrest is because they're saying it's a very complex investigation. It's in the early stages. It's going to take a lot of work. There's a tremendous amount of data to process. They're microchipping hundreds of dogs, financial records, witness interviews from dozens of shelters, and hundreds of public tips. It says animal cruelty cases are difficult to prosecute because the victims cannot testify. Prosecutors need very strong forensic and circumstantial evidence. Well, I don't know. I mean, if you have hundreds and hundreds of dogs or whatever it is dead at the site with bullets in their head, I guess they have to link it to the owner, but I mean, it's the owner's property. Wow, dude. Okay, so let me, I want to play this video clip. Let's get to this guy here, Aaron Parnas. I'll play some of this.
Gunshot wounds. The remaining 47 have been collected as evidence. This is according to ABC7 and are currently being investigated due to have not been examined just yet because of time control. This is a very horrific story and a very serious situation, given that hundreds of dogs likely have been killed in Northern California. I'll have more updates for you soon. Follow along to update on all the news you need to know. Very serious news right now. Over 100 dogs have been found dead in Northern California. Many of them had bullet holes in their body, according to reports from ABC7. Investigators today had found at least 117 intact canine remains in Northern California at a rescue called Miranda's Rescue. They found 21 canine skulls, hundreds of additional bones during a second search of the animal rescue property. In addition to the 117 intact dogs, they found numerous other microchips, along with hundreds of collars. 70 dogs, based on preliminary analysis, died from gunshot wounds. The remaining 47 have been collected as evidence. This is according to ABC.
Let me read you this post here, which I thought was just really interesting. This person says he shot them. That's how they died. Shot them in the head and buried them in mass graves on the property. That's not emergency euthanasia. That's a business model. He was paid $400 to $1,000 per dog to take them in. The cost of a bullet made it profit. And there may be more that will never be found. A former worker alleges staff were ordered to dump dead dogs in the Ed River during the winter floods, a river that flows directly into the Pacific Ocean. Those dogs are gone forever. Complaints were filed with the sheriff in 2023 and 2025. No investigation was open. His operating permit expired in September 2004, 22 years ago. Is that true? Oh my God. The county approved the permit modification in 2020 and still didn't fix it. A notice violation wasn't sent until May 2026 after journalists started asking questions. California does not regulate or license private animal sanctuaries. He is still legally allowed to have animals on that property. No charges have been filed as of this writing. Investigators themselves have asked the question publicly. 731 dogs vanished in 1 year. How many in 31 years? That's what I was saying too. Nobody knows. This is the river that this person was talking about. El River. They got a river right next to the place, not far off. El River. And there's the ocean. Wow. It's crazy. It's probably one of the most egregious cases of animal abuse that I've seen. They did do a press conference. At a press conference. And seriously, kudos and like salute to those people that took matters into their own hands. You know what I mean? Like literally, according to the Instagram post, we've been reporting this. We've been submitting complaints. These people don't do a fucking thing. Law enforcement doesn't do nothing. These people do nothing. And maybe legally it's just out of their hands. But I mean, if the people are lodging complaints, I mean, shouldn't that be probable cause at least to go check it out, investigate? These people literally had to trespass and dig up bodies and be like, here. And they're like, all right, no arrest, but at least now they're investigating. I'm sure hopefully that comes down the line. People do one thing to one dog and they're fucking locked up and they're getting charges. This guy has hundreds of bodies in the grave, in the dirt, shot. There's a kill spot. And it's like, well, I don't know, right? It's just what? And California ain't got no regulations or nothing on these people, but that's just crazy. But they're all up in the pollution and all this shit too. But you can kill thousands of dogs.
I guess is what I'm wondering. And did you have any?
And the 8 that they're referring to is where the people trespass, like we talked about earlier. The people that trespass and dug up the bodies. This is the 8 that they're referring to there. You know, it's kind of a shame that that's what it took for these people to actually look and investigate to all these animals being killed about this. I wonder if at some point the owner is going to make a video or a post or something. Well, are they going to say mental health? What are they going to say? You know what? I want to let the presser play, but when I heard of this story, I was thinking about, because I used to listen to all these like podcasts and stuff. And there's been a couple of stories historically where you hear about these places that are like for boarding or for like taking babies, unwanted babies or out of wedlock babies, when it was like more like looked frowned upon in society back then. And I was looking it up now because I was like, I know I heard of these cases where they were taking these kids or these unwanted babies from places. Parents, oh yeah, we'll pay you this amount, whether it's a one-time or a monthly or whatever it is payment. You take care of the child. They take in the child. In some cases, in some places, they just kill them. Oh, we got to make more space. We're making all this fucking money. We're going to take in these kids. And one of the most infamous people, her name is Amelia Dreyer in the UK, but there's been multiple instances of that. This story made me think of that. I'm not trying to compare dog and animal, dog and baby, but I'm just saying this kind of operation where we're murdering whatever, and making money. Amelia, trained nurse and widow in 1869, Dyer turned baby farming, the practice of adopting unwanted infants in exchange for money to support herself. She initially cared for the children legitimately, in addition to she had her own kids, 2 of her own children. Still, whether intentionally or not, 400 died. Whether intentionally or not, are you kidding me? Intentionally or not, it was an accident, leading to a conviction for neglect and 6 months of hard labor. That's it. That's all she got. Damn. She began directly murdering children that she adopted, strangling at least some of them, and in disposing of the bodies to avoid attention. Mentally unstable, she was committed to several mental asylums throughout her life, despite suspicions of feigning. Because some of these people too, they be feigning. I got it's mental illness. Yeah, give me 6 months. I got mental illness. Yeah. And survived at least one serious suicide attempt. Well, she got problems in the head for sure. But some of these people too, they just know how to play the game. Maybe they do got the problems. What's her name? Letitia Stout, child murder.
Here, looking for any signs of cause of death, as well as looking at the chips and trying to document everything. So every dog that we uncover, every animal we uncover is going to be documented. Evidence is going to be documented and then seized and then held.
Make some statements, I guess, on the website. So after this presser, I'll read some of his responses. Yeah. No, the state didn't ignore it. You guys, the way you guys dealt with it is to allow these people to operate to take care of the problem. We don't have to worry about it and deal with it because these people are going to come here allegedly and kill these animals and take care of it. No, yeah. That's part of the whole thing, is part of that operation and program probably out there. Just my theory, just speculating out there. That's the thing too. I mean, I don't know. Could you argue that? I wonder the legality of this, because they don't really have any for these, I guess, for the sanctuary, the private places. You could kill them however you want to kill them as long as it's humane, I guess. I mean, there's still animal abuse. I mean, how do you prove it? I guess, but there's a lot of bodies, but he could just claim. We're going to get to some of his statements because he's defending himself and he's saying, on May 24th, he made a post on the Facebook page and said, many of you like me have been appalled by the allegations we've read in the media and online. Not everything we've seen is true. A legal process is now underway to sort out the facts from the lies, and I'm asking you to please hold the fire until the process works its way through. I have cared for thousands of animals and devoted 31 years of my life to the rescue, and I intend to vigorously defend myself and continue this important work. I have been advised by counsel not to comment any further at this time. With love, Shannon. And all the posts are limited on Facebook because, Facebook, they would ream his ass in the comment section. So he had to turn off the comments for all the posts. Question mark?
So this is a fraud investigation.
How the money part of that part of the operation.
Thrift shops, they have 4. Let me double check that. Yeah, they supposedly have 4 thrift stores as a way to raise money for the animal rescue. So it says that these stores sell donated items like clothing, furniture, household goods, and other secondhand items. The profits from the store help fund the care of the animal. Okay, and they say it's a common thing for some of these places. So she was asking about that and the money. Okay, so let me get the website now. So I read you the response from the other day from the owner. On the website, I guess they have like their mission statement and kind of break down a little bit of what they do over there. I don't know if this guy gets a good lawyer. Is he going to try to finagle out of it? I don't know, especially with the laws that they don't really have much I don't know. It doesn't seem like they have much regulation over these places. Okay, so this is from June 18, 2026, a statement from Shannon Miranda, the founder of the rescue. For more than 30 years, I have devoted my life to rescuing and caring for animals. Through Miranda's rescue, recent media coverage and online commentary have presented an incomplete and, in some cases, inaccurate picture of our work. I want to share the facts and provide context so the public can better understand the difficulties we sometimes must make. How our rescue operates across the country, municipal shelters take in large animals, I guess a large amount of animals, many of whom are easy to place in homes. Others arrive with serious behavioral challenges, including aggression or inability to interact safely with other animals, children, or the public place. In many jurisdictions, these animals may be euthanized. Shelters often turn to rescues like Miranda's rescue as a last resort for these harder to place animals. We accept animals from shelters throughout Northern California and provide shelter services to local communities without their own facilities. Miranda's rescue is a no-kill rescue. We do not euthanize animals simply to make space. However, as we state on our website, there are rare circumstances in which euthanasia may be necessary when an animal is suffering from a terminal condition or when it possesses a serious ongoing danger to people or other animals. In those situations, we make the most humane and responsible decision we can. always with public safety and animal welfare in mind. Recent cases and public concerns. 2 recent cases have drawn particular attention. In one case, a dog named Zora arrived heavily sedated, later killed a feral cat during a walk with a prospective adopter, then broke free and attacked another dog. In another case, a dog transferred to us became fixated on a stroller carrying a baby, lunged at it, and attacked it before staff intervened. In both situations, given the observed behavior and the risks to staff, volunteers, visitors, and other animals, I made the difficult decision to euthanize the dogs. These were not decisions made lightly and were based on my responsibility to protect both the public and the animals in our care. In recent months, I have informed several shelters that I will no longer accept dogs they have already designated for euthanasia because of serious behavioral concerns. I believe shelters must take the responsibility for animals that pose significant safety risks, rather than transferring those animals to rescues while maintaining a public image of being no-kill, quote-unquote, organizations. Okay. Our commitment to animals and public safety. My staff, volunteers, and I love animals we serve. We work tirelessly to rehabilitate them and find safe, appropriate homes whenever possible. Unfortunately, not every animal can be safely rehabilitated or placed in a family environment. Some have attacked other animals, threatened staff, or exhibited severe behavioral distress that makes placement impossible. Whenever euthanasia has been necessary, I have notified local authorities in advance. Really? Even when told that reporting is not required. So they'll be able to pull that up if that's the case, if that's true. I believe it is important to maintain a clear record of these difficult decisions. Really? Miranda's Rescue is a nonprofit organization. Funds we receive from shelter transfers and donations help cover the cost of food, housing, veterinary care, medications, facility expenses, and staffing for animals in our care. Beyond our shelter operations, I also assist local animal control and community members with emergencies involving stray, neglected, or at-risk animals. Criticism is part of public life, and people have a right to ask questions. I only ask that they consider all the facts before reaching conclusions. Allegations made without a full understanding of the circumstances can harm not only my reputation, lawsuit, but also the future of an organization that has served this community for decades. At Miranda's Rescue, our mission is to save as many animals as we safely can, always balancing compassion for animals with our responsibility to protect families, children, and other pets, and the public. Shannon Miranda. Wow. What a story. I'm going to keep an eye on this. I hope that they come with more information. To me, it's just still a lot. The whole thing with the 600 or 700 collars, you know, is that over the 30 years of taking care of these animals in the place? What's up with that? In the barn where they allegedly found 300 or 600, 700 collars. And they're saying, let me see here, the numbers. They said 117 intact dogs remains recovered. 21 skulls and hundreds of bones. I don't know, man. Many show clear bullet fragments. Is he going to argue, well, I was just euthanizing them, and you guys don't have any laws against that because I did it humanely? That's your fault. Is he going to like flip this on him? Like legally, I guess it depends what they can find from those dogs from their, like, the autopsies. Over 600 collars recovered inside of that barn.
For a third straight day, excavators searched the Humboldt County property of a self-proclaimed no-kill rescue.
You cannot put into really words of what exactly it smells like. The closest thing I can think is a pile of dead deer.
The Humboldt County Sheriff's Office, FBI, and several state agencies are involved in Thursday's excavation. Authorities say dozens of dogs have already been dug up, many with microchips. It follows our reporting on a search warrant affidavit alleging the rescue accepted dogs and money from shelters across California under the promise they would be cared for and rehomed. Instead, investigators believe dogs were killed to make room for more. Berkeley and Oakland were among the Bay Area shelters that sent hundreds of dogs there before cutting ties. The investigation began after a neighbor uncovered a burial pit containing 8 dogs with apparent gunshot wounds.
I hope that it will be the beginning.
Yeah, there's Jennifer. That's the neighbor that went and did her own reconnaissance and took matters into her own hands. Okay, that's the neighbor right there. That's Jennifer.
Dogs with eyes.
That's
The
crazy.
investigation began after a neighbor uncovered a burial pit containing 8 dogs with apparent gunshot wounds.
I hope that it will be the beginning of a change where the animals will be removed from him and placed into legitimate rescues where they actually find loving homes.
We are still not naming the rescue. More than 2 months later, no charges have been filed against the owner or any employees.
I wouldn't take the fact that it's been a little while and charges haven't been filed as any indication that they won't be filed.
Experts say prosecutors would have to prove exactly what happened.
Animal cruelty cases can be especially difficult to charge and prosecute because there are unique evidentiary challenges that come with animal cruelty cases, most notably the fact that the animals themselves can't testify.
And even the most shocking allegation in this case may not by itself prove animal cruelty.
To euthanize an animal in California by a bullet. So that alone is not animal cruelty.
Investigators say hundreds of
That's going to be the difficult part there, I think.
dogs.
I mean, unless they get, I don't know, maybe they get ex-employees or something to come, witnesses, ex-employees to come testify. There was this going on, there was that going on, but just the bullets themselves and the dogs, I guess, is not enough, I guess.
Sent to the rescue are still unaccounted for.
It's crazy.
God forbid hundreds of dogs are found buried. The owner is found responsible for that. He still might not face any animal cruelty charges.
He might not.
So animal cruelty is not the only focus of this investigation. Legal experts say potential charges could also include fraud, conspiracy, also nonprofit law violations. Now, both the rescue and the investigation remain open. Updated excavation numbers are expected tomorrow. We did reach out to the rescue again today, but we did not hear back. The owner, though, has repeatedly denied allegations that it killed dogs to make room for more.
Crazy. Yeah, he's not going to say anything else after his lawyer told him not to. That is so crazy, man. Poor dogs, poor animals. I don't know what happened in that shelter. I don't know how the whole shelter rescue game works, Wow.